G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? It is a wonderful evening, and I thought we'd get out and do a little bit of a ride. Now, I did an old Pure Sound video on this very topic, but I thought we'd do one with a bit of commentary, and that is how it feels to ride a motorcycle. Now, I figured I had some time because I'm going to go do a photo shoot just after this, but we've got some time to talk in the meantime. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't got a bike yet and you're just enjoying watching YouTube content to get on the bike, well, if you don't know what it's like, this is the video for you. There's a few things to take into consideration when you're thinking about buying a motorbike, okay? Besides the price and all that fun stuff and what kind of bike you want, once you've got all your gear, I wouldn't even say into consideration, things to expect is the better way to put it. When you're riding a motorcycle, there's a numerous amount of things that you're going to gain, okay? And that is the fact purely of the wind in your, that you feel when you're riding down the road, the people staring at you when you got your exhaust done up, maybe the occasional dog runs at you, but all that good stuff that you can expect. So this is sort of it. Obviously, if you're watching moto vlogging, you sort of know what's good for you, and you know what's coming your way, because aside from doing it yourself, moto vlogging and watching the content is essentially what you're getting into with motorbikes as they are. All right, you hop on the motorcycle, you go forward. Sometimes someone nearly hits you. And that's just the cycling and the status of motorcycling as a whole. So don't be scared about such things. Just once you're on the motorbike, you got to be careful, ride straight, and enjoy yourself. But when you have finally got your motorbike, the very first time you ever hop on, there is a few things you got to be careful of, and that is, since it's your first time on said motorcycle, you really got to make sure you're in tune with your emotions. And I say this, and it sounds almost, dicky, but it's true. The first time you hop on a motorbike, boys and girls, you're probably going to be either excited or very nervous, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling excited or nervous. It's just make sure you're aware that you're excited and nervous. For example, when I first got my motorcycle, I didn't take it for a ride straight away because I got it delivered to my house. I didn't pick it up, and I'm glad I did it that way. In hindsight, I really would have been fine, but I figured it would make more sense to be gentle and ease myself into it than jumping straight into it, because when you're new to things, you make stupid decisions. You might do something stupid, or you might panic and crash, okay? If you're getting your motorcycle delivered, even if you're picking it up, don't go straight into riding, okay? I put my bike in the driveway, I left it there, and I probably went inside for about an hour or so. I had family come and go because they were about to leave the house, so I was home alone. Finally, after an hour, I went, you know what? I'm comfortable now, and I went and got on the motorcycle. You might be 10 minutes, you might be instantaneous, but just take your time to understand that this is what you're after, okay? For me, it took about an hour to get the nerves more excitement than nerves, but, it's like that inverted U thing. Exciting and nervousness is very close to being the same thing. So, I don't know about you, but I wasn't taking the chance on having an accident. I've had enough of those in my day. I took a second and I waited until I was comfortable, and then I went around the block. And on that first ride, everything is extremely overwhelming for you as a motorcyclist. Going the speed limit feels incredibly fast, especially when you finally hit 80, and God forbid you go on a freeway and hit 100. The first time you go the speed limit, even 40 k's on a motorbike feels fast, because normally you're on a push bikey thing, you're going maybe 25 k's, 30 k's, maybe 40 k's, but you have to really, push yourself to get there. Maybe in some cases you might even hit, 60, but even then, that's incredibly quick on a push bike. So when you're on a motorbike, you're just hitting it effortlessly, and you're like, whoa, I am going incredibly fast. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like you're speeding, even though you're not. All right, these are normal things to experience when you're on a motorcycle. And if anyone's wondering, you can shift the motorbike without the clutch. I've had people question me before on that. It's pretty standard. So obviously you feel a little bit scared about going the speed limit, and that's okay. If you need to take a second to get up to that confidence level, don't feel rushed or feel like you're obligated to. You don't have any need to sort of do that. Wait till you're comfortable. Now, obviously, I'm not saying do 40 in an 80 zone. That's just as dangerous. But if you need to do 10 k's down or 5 k's off, just for the little bit, don't try and make it a habit, because then you're just putting yourself at more risk of feeling slow, because people then get mad at you and you might make a bad decision because of it. So try and stick to your back streets if you're going to be going slow, okay? But once you're on the main roads, you want to be hitting the speeds of the roads, all right? Don't be scared of the motorcycle. She won't hurt you. But after that, you're going to have everything overwhelming, all right? Traffic is going to be one of those situations where you're a bit scared, because a lot of the time people are going to be changing lanes randomly or driving out in front of you, something along that, all right? it's not exactly the cleanest way of experiencing traffic the first time, because one, you're looking at every which way, checking directions, making sure it's safe to go. You don't feel right. Is this car going to go? Is this car going to move? Am I okay to go? You know, stuff like that. Obviously, the more you drive and the more you ride, you'll be at different levels. But if you're starting with less car knowledge, it's going to be even worse, because obviously you're not used to just riding in traffic as it is, or driving in traffic as it is. So it's a whole different experience. But now that you've got less protection, God have mercy, you're going to be even scared. All right. I think in Australia you need to do, at least you have like your learner's permit for a car or something to be able to get your motorcycle. But who knows? So after you've got over that first overwhelming thing, all right, and you've got the speed sensor, now you got to learn, like, that's your first experience, all right? Speed is going to be whoa, especially when you go fast. And of course, when you finally like get accustomed to everything, traffic is going to be a little bit whoa. If God forbid you have a near miss on your first ride ever, don't let that scare you from riding. This is a very common thing when you're on motorcycles. Okay, don't worry about it. Just take a second, especially if you feel your nerves. Pull over, sit there, breathe for a minute until you're comfortable to go again. Because don't sit on the bike knowing you're panicked, because then you're more likely to make a stupid decision and hurt yourself. Okay, don't feel shame because you're scared of something. This is just your first experience on the motorcycle, dude. But yes, if you've almost nearly dropped the bike, which is very common on the first few rides you do, same thing. If you do end up dropping it, oh well, it's pretty funny. I laughed when I dropped my bike the first time. Don't be scared about almost dropping it, dude. It's completely fine. You're going to drop it eventually. I don't care how many years you've lived and how many years you haven't dropped it. If you almost dropped it a few times, guess what? It's probably going to happen eventually. Don't be scared of such things. It's just the normal antics of riding motorcycles, okay? So what do you expect when you're on motorbikes? Now that you've had it go, you expect a few things. Wind on you. Doesn't matter if you're wearing a jacket or not, you'll always feel the wind. You'll feel less or more depending on what kind of motorbike you buy. Speed is a different experience, because speed is much faster on motorcycles, that's for sure. Oh, I didn't realize this road ended so quickly. I thought I had enough time. Let's just do a cheeky U-turn, and actually I'll go down this one. King Arthur Drive, mate. I love this the names of these streets here. They're all like Camelot, King Arthur Drive, etc, etc. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so you got the speed. Once speed is all done and dusted for, you know that it's going to feel a lot faster. You sort of you get used to it, okay? Now that you've gotten used to one of two things, you got your speed and your wind, you just got to get used to oh, that's right, I know where I am. There's a nice level of safety you got to get used to. Now, once you've gotten used to all such things, you're finally like at that same experience that every bike ride's going to be. Now you're not so nervous about every single ride. You're not so nervous about everything and anything that's attacking you whilst you're riding. You're sort of at that comfortable level, you know what I mean? And that's completely okay to be at. There's no shame in doing such things. The joys of riding motorcycles doesn't really get old. You will just get more comfortable with it. If you're riding in traffic every day, you'll notice it might get a bit dull on some days. It might be a bit hot on other days. If you can lane filter, well, fair enough, then you're probably not going to complain as much, because, you know, you're quite comfortable now. But if you can't lane filter and you've got to sit in traffic, well, then riding can get a bit dull sometimes. But when you get those days where you're going out in the twisties and you're doing all kinds of this, that, and the other, riding never gets old. Doesn't matter if it's your first time or your last time, it's always still to be fun. It might not be as fun as the first time, but even then, the first time's not always as fun as, I don't know, sometimes in the middle, once you start getting a little bit better at your riding. Because once you start getting a bit better, I can assure you, you're going to have much more fun rides than if you your first ride. So your first ride the twisties, you probably feel like you're doing really well, but I can assure you, after you've done your first ride in the twisties versus your 10th or 50th ride in the twisties, your 50th ride's going to be a lot faster and more enjoyable than, say, your first ride was. Because the first ride, you're going to be terrified, you might overdo a few corners, you might panic brake, you might overshoot a corner, go wide. These are all completely normal things for your first ride, or like your experience on the bike, but you know, it's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So like, you might take this corner too fast for all that matter, and that's fine. But guess what? We Gucci. Ooh, that's a nice little Ducati there. Was that an 899 or something? I quite enjoy those things. Oh, it does. But I tell you what, what's it like riding a motorcycle? Fantastic, and I wouldn't change it for anything, because it's one of the greatest experiences and things I've started doing in my life. And it only cost me, you know, well, for my bike 10 grand, but it only cost you a few grand to get into. You don't have to go get yourself a piss missile. You can get yourself something a bit more calm, like my Cruiser Boy here, or something even slower, or just anything, as long as you enjoy the idea of riding, right? Doesn't have to be fast, doesn't have to be slow. As long as you've got two wheels under you, the experience never really dies. It's always enjoyable. And I'm really happy to see so many people getting into it, because we don't want anybody deterred by some scary internet information. I really hope I went the right way here. I might not have. We shall see. I don't believe I think I may have made the wrong decision here, because I don't often come this way. Have I just done me a big loop? I have. Let's just do a cheeky U-turn here. These are the joys of riding bikes, though. Easy to do little things, man. Easy to do little things. I could get a little bit faster with my U-turns, but I don't do them often enough to care about doing them fast and swift. But that's the thing. What's it like riding a motorbike? There's always something new to learn, dude. Always something new to learn. I'm not the best at doing bloody U-turns, but I'm not the worst at them. I haven't dropped a bike doing a U-turn yet. And I did say yet, because I know it's going to happen one day. I'm not the best at doing wheelies. I can't do them for shit. I've done like 2 in my lifetime. One of them was, maybe 3. One of them was involuntary. I went over a bump, I was launching it, and I popped a power wheelie. Which is odd, because it's a Rebel. We don't do power wheelies often. But right now, I'm on my way to go take that photo shoot, so we're going to head that direction. But yeah, there's always something new to learn, dude. Counter steering, how good your learning is, trail braking, when to put your knee down, corner braking, mid-corner braking, regular braking, how to lean, etc, etc. There's always something fun to practice. And I guarantee you'll never master everything unless you're an absolute god amongst men. But most people don't have the ego to admit they're not that great, no matter how, average they think they are, or how average they know they are. But there's always someone who's better than you. Doesn't matter how much you practice. Whew. Alrighty. Now guys, I do hope you've enjoyed today's video, but I am going to go all the way up into, everybody knows this spot well and truly. We're going up to the old Highview Park. It's a channel favourite. I've done many videos starting off here. I've had a subscriber meet up here, which was my very first one, even though old mate was the only one who came, so we only had one person. But you know it and love it, and you've definitely seen the missus here. In fact, the last video she was in was the Pillion one, and she was also here. But she's also a lovely professional photographer, and I assure you, having a professional photographer as a girlfriend is great. Oh no, they've closed it off. What do we do? I can't go up here. That's not great. I thought they closed this thing late than this. That's a shame. Well, we're gonna have to figure out where to go as opposed to this, but that's fine. Whatever will we do? We know where we're going. Oh well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's all done and dusted now, but I hope you've enjoyed the content lately. If you're new around here, give me a like, comment and subscribe. And as always, take it easy, keep it mostly cheesy, and have a wonderful day. Peace. Bye.